How to manage multiple projects in construction. If you're running multiple projects, you need to know these methods. So what are the 12 steps to doing this well? What are the 5 key rules of flow that you should remember? And if you have to manage multiple projects, do you want to know what's really happening? If you do, stay with us in this video. All right, so first and foremost, I just gotta say, if you are running multiple projects, the first step is to try not to, because it's very, very hard. There's a video in the description below that we're gonna link you to that explains exactly why it's so detrimental. It's hard on you, it's hard on your mental health, it's hard on your schedule, it's hard on your family, it's hard on every single aspect of your life. I get it. Sometimes companies have to do it. Sometimes PMs have to do it. Sometimes that's just how it works out. That's just how the numbers dial, right? So try to not do it whenever you can, and when you have to, follow this advice. Follow lean methodologies. Now you can apply these to any part of your work. If you have opportunities to do training, to do certification programs, to learn about them in more detail, please do so because they're huge. The first one is 5S. We've talked to you about this before in other videos, which we will link to you in the description below, specifically in reference to these concepts. But 5S is where you systematically, in a standardized way, every day, go through your areas, your emails, and your organization systems, and you make sure that you follow the 5 steps of sort, which means get rid of what you don't need, straighten, organize what you have, sweep or shine, which means clean your area, and then you'll want to standardize things, whether it's on your computer in files, on your desk in a physical environment. You'll want to make sure you standardize your processes and systems and way of working, and that 5, you sustain that habit on a daily basis. That is key because you do not have time to deal with any clutter. The next key concept is work in one piece or one process flow. So that means if you have 5 submittals, don't go take the first step of each submittal and change your focus. Just take steps 1 through 5 for that submittal and just do it while you're there in focus. Meaning, I'm going to go ahead and grab the submittal, I'm going to research the drawings, I'm going to do my review, I'm going to get a peer review, and then I'm going to transmit it over to the architect. Just get that done right then and there, one piece, one process flow. This will be a game changer for everything you do. Number 3, make sure you're flowing together. So as a project manager, it's not just important that you are flowing in one piece or one process flow, but that everyone on your team is, and that all of the assignments for the project are flowing to completion, coordinated by priority and done as a team. 4, you'll want to see together. So any of your project management systems, especially if you're running multiple projects, and especially if they're in different locations, you want to move everything into highly visible environments, whether it's online or in person, so that everyone, even if they're disconnected, can see as a group, know as a group, and act as a group. And 5, improve from there and work as a team solving real problems. So these are the lean principles that I'm asking you to apply to every part of your work. Now, let's get more specific. But real quick, from a specific standpoint, if you have any specific questions, please comment on these videos. I will personally respond. Okay, so back to the specifics. There are 12 steps that you can take to run multiple projects well. Number 1, you have to get everything organized in one spot and not on email. Meaning, if you're doing a project, I want to know the owner, I want to know the phone numbers, I want to know the information, I want the plans logged in one location, I want to know any historical information. Anything that you have can go in your project management software or in a file structure or on Miro or in some other location, but you have to have it. You do not have the time to go find project information in this email over here, or this file, or this printout, or blah, blah, blah. You have got to combine it to where it's in one location, easy for you to reference. Number 2, identify who your teams are. Whoever your teams are, make sure you have great communication channels. That means email at the last, right? But text chats, phone numbers, meetings, interactions to where you and your team can work together at the right moments. Know who they are, know who you're going to lean on, and most especially, know what their scope is, their scorecard, their role, what they're expected to do. Make sure that they know that and that everyone on the team knows their positions. Number 3, know when you're going to check in with your team, right? So do you have a standard meeting process? Do you have standard huddles? Do you have monthly reviews? When do you interact with that team that you now know that you have? even if they're on multiple projects. So team 1, team 2, team 3, when do you meet with them? Organize your schedule so that you can be with them at the right times. No more, no less, but so that you can focus on each project at a time and so that it works within your work week. Number 4, make sure each team has clarity. So when you understand, hey, here's my information, here's my team, here are the times that I interact with them, you have to make sure that you have a way to provide clarity to those teams once you're done with those interactions. So it isn't, hey, I'm going to go to the team and meet, quote unquote, or I'm not going to go talk to someone, or I'm not going to go do this RFI or submittal. It's how do I, once I'm done meeting with team 1, make sure team 1 knows exactly what they're doing, even if I'm not here. How do I, once I meet with team 2 or my second project, make sure that by the time we're done meeting, they know exactly what to do, even without me, 100%, so that they can go do and execute that project well. You get my point. Find a way to provide clarity. That could be on a day plan, a visual board, a set of instructions, your Scrum board. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure that every project, 1, 2, 3, hopefully you don't have any more than that, but the supers and the foremen and the Ps can look at your direction and say, oh, I know exactly what we're doing today. I'm not talking about micromanagement. I'm talking about the vision for the project, the major priorities, and the general instruction and culture. Number 5, consolidate your focus. If you now have your teams and you have the interaction spaces and you have your method of providing clarity, I want you to consolidate your focus. That means if you have project 1 meeting or interaction here, all the way throughout the week, see if you can loop those all together to where when you're on project 1, you do project 1, you finish project 1 items for that week or that day. Maybe you have project number 2, it's all over the place. Try and consolidate that focus, not only for you, but for your team as well, so that you don't have a lot of context switching, which is where you're trying to get into a different mental frame from project to project to project. You'll want to, in your meetings and your efforts, attempt to focus on one project as much as you can. Number 6, time block your activities. If you have to talk to your supers and you're a project manager, obviously, or you're a super talking to foreman, or you're a foreman talking to your workers, however the case may be, you really need to make sure that you time block these interactions. So in the morning, let's say your foreman, let's just work it up. Your workers, your foreman, or your supers all like to talk to you at a certain time. Then just say, hey, from 7 to 9, I do all my phone calls, all my meetings, connecting with my team. Then once we're done with that at 8 or 9 o'clock, then I respond to owners' needs and do major tasks. Then in the afternoon, this is my focus time. So you'll want to time block as much of this so that you can be in focus, work in one piece flow, and not be distracted all over the place, losing time. If you do, you'll waste hours in the day. Number 7, once you have your days planned and you have your week planned, then work in what's called day tight, T-I-G-H-T, day tight compartments, which means that you have the start of the day, the end of the day, your plan for the day in one piece flow with buffers throughout. Go execute that plan in a disciplined manner and do not get distracted unless it's an absolute must. So like if somebody cut off their leg, you're going to go do something else and interrupt your work. If the owner showed up on site, you're going to go hang out with the owner. You're going to interrupt your work. But if you get interrupted for things like, hey, I've got a question, or will you help me write this RFI, or hey, I want to talk about my hunting trip, ask the people on your team, hey, can we move that to a different time? Because right now I'm working in one piece, one process flow. Number 8, create fail safes. If you are needed in a meeting or in an interaction or for approvals, and you are the only one, you do not have a backstop. You do not have fail safes. If you are gone, what is the team going to do? So make sure that if you have multiple projects and you're not there, or you're in a meeting, or you're in an interview, or whatever you're doing, that the team, if they need you but can't get you, that there is a backstop, that there is a second person, that there's duplicate coverage for any system, so that regardless of who is missing, the process can still work properly. Number 9, create buffers in your schedule so you have extra time in the day. Number 10, get help. If after all that you still need help, you might need an assistant or a project engineer. Or as a superintendent, you might need an assistant super or a field engineer. Or as a foreman, you might need a lead person. And once you get the help, track your leading indicators, meaning the things that will make the most difference in your business. Track those at a high level and always keep your finger on the pulse of the project and improve from there. If you don't do this, then you are going to be riddled with waste. You're going to feel like you're not accomplishing anything, and you're going to add 1, 2, 3, all the way up to even 4, 5, 6 hours to every day trying to overcome the chaos. If you do not have a system, you will not be able to work in one process flow. You will not get your work done. You will be stressed, and you will not get home on time to your family. And so I'm going to link you to the other video about how many projects a project manager should manage in construction. It will accentuate this idea, provide more information. I know you're going to love it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.